Well, if you saw the end of Jiro Karabe's storyline, you kind of know where megoomerz is going, but hey, we're completionists, so we still got to do it anyway.
Yeah, well, I wasn't paying attention, so I just have one question about the story so far. Is it Earth? Are they on Earth right now? Is it Earth that they're on?
Okay, so here's what's happening in the story right now, in case you haven't been paying attention. Pretty much, back in 2188, the mankind was destroyed by a nanomachine plague. Everybody died, just entirely, except for, let's say, about 15 people or so that were kind of in orbit, working on some terraforming robots and just general plans to colonize the stars. Though it became a lot more dire a little bit in the future, you know, after they found out that everybody had died. But, however, due to the dire circumstances, things kind of took a sour turn. Everybody died, and they decided to sabotage the program, turning the terraforming robots on the poor colonists and having them be forever trapped in a loop of destruction and creation when they finally got to their eventual goal, the planet, which I guess we're on right now. We kind of saw that with Morimura, where she was talking about how there's a satellite she was in contact with, like circling the planet or something. I don't know. So I think we're on the planet here specifically.
Okay, yeah,
Anyway, by the way, the colony is 5 individual cities that are all based off of a fictional city 40 years apart for reasons that make no goddamn sense, and I'm not even going to try to make sense as to how that works.
Yep, it's a reference to this New York City and its boroughs.
That would make a slight bit more sense, but that is not in fact what's happening.
We're in the Ender WK borough. We used to be in the Rogers and Hart borough.
So anyway, to try and combat the rogue terraforming robots, 15 people based off the 15 people who originally created the terraforming and colonization program in the first place, have to pilot robots, also based off of the terraforming robot design, to try and prevent them from attacking the colony computer known as Universal Control. Which, if they get close enough to the terminals, they shut down, turn off, and if all of them go offline, then basically the computer considers this as a failure and kind of just resets everything.
Makes
back
sense.
to square one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so far it has not worked. Despite the fact that Tsukasa Okino, the creator, or well, I suppose the guy who took the designs for the Sentinels out of the Universal Control computer in the first place, tried to, wage war on them. So far, we've gone through, 2 loops? And then we got, Prisoner 2046, named after the year 40 years before he was born, at least according to you. Who has tried his own methods of preventing the kaiju robots, what they're calling the terraforming robots, from attacking. Whether it's shooting up a lab or something like that, which didn't work because he didn't understand how things were going. Killing a bunch of teenagers also didn't work because he's stupid. Creating a terrible virus that instead just, gave a lot of people amnesia. And as of late, turning himself into a cat and Jiro Karabe's best friend to update everybody's nanomachines to try and turn it more into a video game, which is super dumb, but I guess it's working. If you saw the actual gameplay, it's sort of working a little bit more. I can upgrade those robots to being incredibly powerful.
I want to be shot with that so that we can actually play a video
guess at
game.
least he's trying to make up for his idiotic past mistakes when he didn't understand anything of what was going on. Chihiro Morimura is out there also having gone through the 2 loops and is now trying to enact, Project Aegis, which is to purposely shut down each one of the terminals, but in a way that doesn't completely disconnect it from Universal Control. In other words, what's going to happen is that although all the cities are still going to be destroyed, like hella destroyed, we're not going to go through another loop, which is good because, going through a loop basically means liquidating everyone inside each one of the cities, which is, it's a preferable alternative, I suppose. And then finally we got Tetsuya Ida, who sort of like the head of the Sentinel program, kind of heading up like this special investigations, Men in Black type of group around here in the background, trying to sabotage everything so that everything gets reset into another loop, and then, we kind of try it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of more or less what we're looking at right now. There's a few other things, characters with amnesia getting memory transplants from their past loop selves to try and reincarnate themselves in the current bodies. There's, of course, attempts to try and get rid of the signal code called the Deimos code that exists in each one of the 15 main characters that actually commands the individual kaiju units to try and attack the cities. Sort of a way to go about defending everything by not actually... That does not include trying to destroy robots with giant robots, which is boring, so obviously that's not working. And of course, the entire ridiculous storyline of how exactly people have survived each one of the loops by going into the secret sixth city, which is more like just a waiting room that people hung around in until, they were able to get inputted back into the rebuilt cities.
Yeah.
So no, it's not fucking Earth. We're not on Earth.
Oh.
No. That's not why I'm doing that.
Okay, go through all of that again. No.
Man, it's just like, look, I'm trying to explain this as best I can, but holy fuck, this game.
Well, I mean, and it's not like by video game standards. I mean, it is interesting in terms of just how convoluted and complex it is. At least it's not like there's not too little story. Put it that way. There's
Certainly not.
There's enough going on. There's a lot of fodder for a conversation. It's got, it isn't the, shocking. I mean, we knew this was going to happen for a long time, of course, because it's multiple timelines, but, it's, fine.
I mean, not multiple timelines. We got 3 loops individually. So far we didn't really even see that much from the first loop. It's just all we know is that Morimura and Kurabe, and Izumi survived the first loop. And then they went on their rampage in the second loop, and then in the third loop, they get brought back as sexy nurses and/or killer robot / Jiro Kurabe's best friend.
Yeah.
She was talking to the gate.
/ cat.
It's all the same thing.
They are all the same character.
Wait, really? They're all Jiro Izumi?
Couldn't see Fluffy.
Yeah, we saw that.
Okay, yeah.
They're all Loop 1 Jiro Izumi.
I hadn't made that connection. Yeah, that is confusing.
We literally saw in Kurabe's episode Shiba turn into the cat, turn into Jiro Izumi.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Of course.
I'm back. Jiro.
But yeah, it's like pretty much all you need to know is that, okay, big robots going to attack city, and there are 3 factions. We got the cat faction / prisoner / Kurabe's best friend, whatever, who is like, okay, I'm just going to upgrade everybody's nanomachines so as to turn this into a video game, because the stupid terraforming project was based on a video game. So what if we just made it more like a video game?
They should have made this game more like a video game.
Second one is Morimura, who, like I said, wants to shut down the terminals, shut down the universal controls, universal control in a way that will prevent everybody from dying, but leave all of the cities as destroyed as ever.
You have to tell me.
And then there's the third one, which is Tetsuya Ida, which we already saw turn into a robot and get shot, so his entire plan is kind of out.
Okay.
And his plan was to try and just cause another loop, because he's like, whatever, it didn't work. We'll get him next time.
Yeah. So kind of there's not really any protagonists or antagonists. It's just a bunch of stuff that's happening.
All right. Well, the antagonists are the robots.
Okay.
And I guess, we could technically say human greed from 2188 that caused them to lose despair to the fact that they tried to sabotage the program in the first place.
That's all I can
Okay. And so if there's one protagonist here, you'd probably say it's Jiro Izumi. But even then, it's just like he's working within this really elaborate context, and he's doing a specific intervention.
I mean, it's just like he survived the first loop, and then he wanged it by trying to stop Shikishima from developing their interstellar colonization program, because, you know, that was based off of real events that did in fact happen, but since this is a simulated version of that, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. It's like, good job, idiot. Then he tried to kill all the teenagers, which I guess was a better idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they at least have, you know, the Deimos code that are apparently directing the robots in the first place. So closer. And now he's just straight up going on with let's gamify this entire thing.
Now, we've already established that this is one of millions of drones. Is that right? Or is this actually humanity's last hope?
Frankly, this might be happening literally thousands of times all over the galaxy, like these exact events.
Okay.
Because, you know, it is a perfectly curated system by the colony computer.
Yeah,
and we're just seeing one of them.
Yeah, at a certain point, I wonder if there's just like, you know, the only difference between the drones would be random radiation. Just...
Yeah, you know, or just, you know, individual events that are happening in the city, just you know, butterfly effect nonsense. But like I said, it is pretty much, as we've seen, everybody is kind of curated, their memories overwritten and wiped by universal control, except for the 15 main characters, because, you know, they're a bunch of special boys and girls being based on the people that originally designed the colony in the first place.
Okay, and just there are 5 million people in this city, roughly.
I think they said a little over 1 million, like 1.2 million in each one of these cities.
Yes, okay, so...
Though they all get liquidated as soon as each one of the terminals gets destroyed by the kaiju.
So this is not exactly the most efficient possible thing you could imagine. Like, you know, you're building 5
No, it's a super dumb premise, but
5...
hopefully that at least clears up what's going on.
Yeah,
The
roughly.
3 factions, the attempt to try and stop this stupid situation, and why it's even happening in the first place.
Yeah. Well, this is actually based on what happened in New York in the 70s. It's just a lot of people don't know about this.
Yeah. I remember when everybody had to evacuate their consciousness to Manhattan so as to try and survive the entirety of New York getting destroyed and rebuilt. From what I remember, minutes before the universal control, man, that looks supernatural. That looks extremely natural. I suppose supernatural is in fact an actual word.
Universal control is
before it was liquidated by the New York universal control. It looked exactly like Escape from New York.
Yeah, the Ford administration. So
minus you know, a bunch of the robots that were attacking the New York City as well.
Yes, of course.
I just wanted to make a reference to Escape from New York. What a dumb movie.
Yeah, and BC Boys reference. They all have the 5 boroughs. They each get 1 borough, 1 for each BC Boy. And then I don't know. I mean we've already seen most of Megumi's storyline, so there's not a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I mean it's like, yeah, we know. Okay, so you know, the at this point in time we know that Tamao is a robot and basically she arranged to have all of the... Tamao is a robot currently being possessed by prisoner 426, Jiro Izumi.
Yes.
Who got arrested after he shot up all those teenagers. What an idiot. And it's like he's the one that created that rental agreement. It's like, what do you... Oh, no, wow, we really need to have that answered.
Has there been any change?
But there you go. There's your explanation for that event.
That's everything. We're not on Earth. I've established that. I understand that now.
I don't know. We might as well be on Earth. It's literally millions of years in the future. If we just happen to make a U-turn around Pluto or something, it's not like it matters either way. It's a wasteland regardless, and we're all trapped in gigantic domes.
It would be funny if they accidentally ran into Earth. Like, you just well, we had to escape Earth for good after what happened, and then we come back to Earth, and actually it's fine. Humanity re-evolved, and they've already built the civilization, and you're just kind of there now. You just become a second.
Yeah, the only difference is that there is the head of the Statue of Liberty stuck in the beach over here.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, it's just a normal ruin. It's not like it was like a civilizational takeover. It was just, civilization died. It was reborn, and then this is the ruins, and it's actually a really respected spot. It's like it's the only, evidence that we have of the prior civilization.
The only evidence, somehow.
What was that about?
I mean, well, you know that humanity cannot rebuild themselves in any sort of video game context. Don't you know that, like, the Fallout universe takes place 200 years after the nuclear war?
Well, remember, we do have nanomachines, so that everything is in play with nanomachines. They could have become self-replicating. They could have invented humanity from what they found at the Statue of Liberty. The DNA at the Statue of Liberty, the shape
Now there's just a bunch of Statue of Liberties walking around.
It's like
an entire civilization.
And then they have a Statue of Liberty with a normal Statue of Liberty face, and then it's just it's the actual Statue of Liberty, but it just looks off because it was based on other statues of Liberty, as opposed to just...
It's holding two torches.
Yes, exactly. It's like, God damn it, what have you done? I really actually don't know what you've done. This is very confusing to me. But
everything has to be, gigantic so as to fit all of these enormous. Yeah. This is actually something we did see in Karabe's storyline where we got the stuff with the thing.
I knew he wasn't real.
Yeah, that's what's currently happening in 13 seconds.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, yeah. And I'm just
this was when he had the Sarah platform at the brain station headband on.
They I was just thinking like an alternate ending to Planet of the Apes where, okay, he's kneeling, in front of, the Statue of Liberty, and then right behind it, the camera kind of pans back, and you see there's an even larger Statue of Liberty right behind it.
Juro, this way.
It's like, oh no, you're not on Earth, but Super Earth.
No. It's the second coming of humanity.
You blew it all up again.
You blew it all up, and then you recreated it, and it's even better. And now I don't even know what's happening.
That is actually literally a gag they did in Futurama.
Oh, okay.
I'm remembering that right now.
Futurama.
Where it's like, you saw Fry in the cryogenic chamber, and then like all the UFOs go around and destroy the entire city.
Do you remember?
Gets built back up, and then the UFOs come back and destroy the entire city. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite gags was in one of the Futurama movies. They go back and they explain everything that happens in the intro sequence. They just go back and explain everything that happens. Like they just had to tie up that loose end that nobody was asking them to tie up. Nobody
was asking about it at all.
They're very.
Yeah. Hey, if you get any sort of like a property, any sort of movie, television show, or whatever that goes on long enough, then that sort of thing happens.
It must be really frustrating.
Look at Star Wars.
To make like a sci-fi show or just even like a nerdy show like Rick and Morty or something after Futurama, because they're sort of like, The Simpsons, how The Simpsons did it, classic. Everyone knows that. There's an episode of South Park like 15 years ago where The Simpsons did it. I feel like Futurama did the same thing in the sense that they just did every possible version of like a nerdy gag that you could possibly imagine.
They did a lot of it. There's definitely something to be said about just like dumb nerd humor for Futurama compared to like sitcom humor for The Simpsons.
Yeah. It's almost like after that, it's like, where do you even go from there? And as Rick and Morty shows, well, you just do a bunch of meta bullshit. You just double down. It's all that's left.
Always double down.
Yes.
Like the sandwich that you can get at Kentucky Fried Chicken, where they replace the bread with more chicken.
Did they actually do that?
Yes, that's a real thing. Oh my God, are we really going to go back into corporate marketing campaigns again? Since when has this turned into the restaurateur, quick service meal restaurant industry podcast?
I don't know. Well, I think it was the first time I heard that song. The combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell, or sorry, the combination Taco Bell and Pizza Hut.
Fair, that is, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
That's a really good song. Or, I don't know if it's
You ever been
good.
to a combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell?
I think I have it like in an airport or something. I definitely been in like a double restaurant like that. Like
They're all owned by Tri Global Food Corporation, also known as Yum Corp, which they started calling themselves, I don't know, 20 years ago or so.
I think Tri Global is that's so funny because that is like a classic like evil corporation name, and it's just like Yum.
Why do you think they
Yum
changed
bread.
themselves to Yum Corporation? It's owned by Pepsi though, so it doesn't really matter.
Scared kitten.
Reminds me of that Simpsons joke where they're just like, it's a girl tech, a division of boy tech.
Hold it right there. Who are you?
Anyway, we
It's
know.
Chihiro Morimura.
Yeah, we know it's
Like
not,
everybody.
It's not a strange girl. It's obviously young Chihiro. We've seen this like a million times already.
I mean, it's not young Chihiro Morimura. It's Chihiro Morimura Prime, who managed to upload her consciousness so that I guess she can continue to terrorize the future of humanity that she helped to create.
I guess.
She didn't want to leave it alone. That she didn't want to leave like all the people that were going to be colonizing other planets alone. She had to continue to see how her work unfolded in the 5 boroughs here.
I gotta say, one of the problems with this game is just
Fight the kaiju.
the fact that like the mascots are just not very memorable. I guess the robot was all right. Like the cat isn't really that memorable. The girl isn't really that memorable. They're just not like iconic. It's just like, oh yeah, that one with that cat and that girl. Oh, you mean Danganronpa? Yeah, that was a much better game than whatever you're saying.
Oh
don't know.
man, how does this remind you of Boss Baby? It's real Boss Baby vibes from this one.
Getting some real Boss Baby vibes, yes. But I mean, I feel like these are like it was even forced.
Could have said like, I don't know, Persona 5, which has a very clear sort of mascot character that's a black and white cat, like
Yeah.
the one here.
And say what you will,
It's not a monochromatic bear.
what is the cat's name from Persona 5? I already forgot it.
Morgana, for
Okay,
God's sake.
Morgana.
I'm not even gonna try and make some sort of sarcastic reference here. His name is Morgana.
That's right. Okay, and Moa or whatever is what
Mona.
Mona is what Hinata
So, who is he?
called.
Everybody.
I always felt like that was kind of forced too, Mona. And really, the rabbit from Zero Escape wasn't great. I know some Zero Escape fans out there are going to be like, "What? Why is this guy, shitting on the rabbit from?" It just wasn't that fun. It just said puns, and it wasn't charming. It was just annoying. I'm sorry. It felt like they were trying to recreate the magic of Monokuma, and they can't.
Yo, everybody, the metaphor about switching the egg yolks is stupid. Anyway,
You liked
What is that like?
that's from AI, the Somnium Files. Anyway,
I have not played that.
that's the one thing I remember about that game.
Well, did they do some stupid Ship of Theseus thing? But they were talking about
They
replacing
did a
jokes.
lot of stupid things.
I know you are.
Oh man, don't worry, we'll have to play it eventually.
Yeah, we will. We're eventually going to get through every one of these stupid visual novels.
Every video game to exist.
Yeah.
Is an ancient
I
civilization.
hope you're looking forward to whatever the next
Century, but it's
Betrayer. Might bring you in on Betrayer.
What is Betray? I've never heard of that.
out in the 20th
Survival horror type of game. We'll see. I don't really know that much about it myself.
Okay, yeah.
So, in reality, the 22nd century is
Oh.
It is an ancient civilization. It's true, millions of years ago, because the blah blah blah. If not, no faster than light travel.
No, Megumi, pay attention. This isn't Earth.
Yeah, did you not hear my entire explanation earlier?
Yeah.
Megumi, I told that to you specifically so that you could get a grasp on your situation.
You're in control.
I like that she just has this belief that this is just gonna he's a physical presence and this is gonna harm him.
I've already told you.
It's
This is a game.
He's a hologram.
I'm only making
What do you?
well, yeah. I mean, that's obvious. We've already saw that. We saw that back in Sekigahara's storyline.
things go the way
Uh-huh.
I want them to.
I mean, it's not. This is not a high stakes encounter, Megumi.
Nope, not at all, in fact, as it turns out.
Like, I mean, the cat is called Fluffy. I feel like it's too ordinary. It's just too ordinary to be really, really iconic.
My memories, actually.
Cat is called the Joey Izumi.
It should be more of like an anime cat, you know.
No, I don't imagine.
Uh-huh. Maybe dress up like a cat burglar or something.
Yeah, and it's always eating pancakes.
It was not my intention.
That was not a part of the character.
That is what happened.
Yeah, Morgana always eating pancakes.
Bring him back.
It's like, oh yeah, always eating pancakes, always riding around on that motorcycle, always trying to get everybody to you know, give him money. all the classic parts of Persona 5 that we all remember.
Why do you bring me in on these story games when I clearly just have no memory? I just have no working memory. I just do not retain information.
I think it's a good, you know, there's like a there's a good interplay between me who remembers everything about these stories and you who remembers nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm a metaphor for the dumbest person in the audience. I mean,
I would just say an audience surrogate entirely.
or just, yeah, exactly. I'm.
Oh no! Oh no!
I truly am the second guy.
You truly, I mean, yeah, it's just like you are the universal audience. Come on,
Yeah, it's true.
What's
the lowest common denominator.
The second guy, the archetypal second guy.
I mean, that's why you got that name.
Just like, I'm just picturing like I'm gonna be like this, side, the sidekick to a great villain, and I'm just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna call myself the second hand, and then somebody's gonna say, so you're like the worst hand, you're just the non-dominant hand, you're just bad at everything. Well, I mean, I can kind of
hand comes off.
I mean, I know how to like eat like with a fork with my left hand. That's about it. Like, I eat it European style if I'm eating a big steak or something. I haven't done this in like 10 years. But what I would do, I get my fork in the left hand and I drive the fork in there so I, hold it in place, and then I can eat. I can just scoop that fork up, and so I don't have to switch hands after cutting. It's, I do.
You know the phrase, that's a weird flex, but okay. I feel like there's no better time to pull that out than right now.
There were things that happened.
It's like some people like they broke their right arm, so they learned to write with their left hand or something. That kind of thing. Just,
I suppose so.
except I just heard that in Europe they just have their fork in the left hand so they can eat right away. And so I learned it as a skill.
I had no ill intent.
What's happening?
So anyway,
Maybe a little.
no, yeah, we get a little bit more explanation. All right. This is the drill of my world. Who's you? That's you. It's you. You're saying that you wanted him to be you. Okay, there we go. More explanations that we kind of could infer by, everything that was happening in the story.
Once I saw the depth of your feeling.
Because we do have memory transplants here, and
There was still some human
very
after all.
selfish people from previous attempts at creating this, making this stupid colony thing work.
Megumi Yakushiji.
I'm not feeling this story very much.
Only fun.
Are you not feeling this very emotional scene between an unconscious girl and a cat?
A hologram of a cat.
You left me some
Well, yeah, it's not even a real cat.
It's just an artificial intelligence.
of you.
I mean,
I've made all
it's an artificial intelligence, but it's the same thing as a real person. Oh my god, are we gonna? Oh, we didn't even talk about that when Okino was bringing that up with
I want you to live
Sekigahara.
out the
Classic
rest of your life with joy.
Ship of Theseus situation.
Yeah, they did bring that up, but then we didn't really,
What about the parts
I
that
think we just continued to talk about commercials.
Jiro?
I don't remember anything that happened in the last two episodes. I just remember talking about the Czech taco neck commercial.
The taco neck syndrome.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
With that gun?
I
Please.
yes, I did.
out.
Frankly, I don't know how that happened either.
Okay.
Ever since
What?
I last saw you, I've been thinking about the dreams I had.
Fair enough, Jiro.
The dreams of the future.
It's just like, did you just shoot yourself in your stomach with a gun?
I've seen it over and over.
Well, anyway.
I dream. This just reminds me of some movies that I saw,
Kaiju after kaiju,
or maybe they were dreams of the future.
pain,
Either way,
fighting
it doesn't
some
matter.
kind of possessed demon.
They were just.
Well, dreams of the past.
It was really badass. There were them robots, and they were fighting each other.
Damage, amen.
Gasp! Jiro Karave remembers a little bit of himself as Jiro Izumi, whatever.
My left arm. Abnormality detected in life support.
It was never this close.
Life,
In none of the gameplay sections.
Cancel release.
life support shutting down. Life support shutting down.
I won't let them destroy Megumi City.
But then again, I guess this was before we had it gamified.
Life support limit reached.
What's up with the gamification thing?
Procedure initiating.
It's like they based the terraforming robots on an old strategy game called Mighty Kaiju Daimos.
Okay, and that was
And because of that, I guess
Jiro Izumi,
it made it so that they could just unlock more video game parts so that you could like upgrade them and get experience points and stuff.
I didn't realize it.
But that also does mean that the kaiju can also upgrade themselves, which is why they get progressively harder in the gameplay sections. There you go.
He was fighting for you.
It's like don't ask me to look. Nanomachines.
this is kind of sweet.
I'm not Jiro Izumi.
I mean, the thing is, the Sentinels are supposed to be based off of the terraforming robots. They're just supposed to be like a slight, forked version of them.
Okay,
So they're also more or less constrained by the whole idiotic terraforming robot AI and whatnot.
I feel like the sci-fi has gotten in the way of telling just a good story. I feel like they. I don't
Hey,
care
the
about.
layers of obfuscation.
I don't care about the nanomachines. I just want to see them. I want to see these characters find happiness. Just-
That's good because that's exactly what the story is about, you know.
Just because
Like he said.
the rest of it is boring as sin. This is the only thing, or not boring as sin. That's
What do I?
sin's usually pretty fun.
No, we love it.
Yeah,
It's true that I'm not.
I love LA.
I may not be as strong as him.
You always
care.
loved.
I will protect you.
Sin City,
Everything that I have.
the Big Apple, the Windy City,
No.
the Five Boroughs,
The Twin
Let
Cities,
you fight on your own again.
the Quad Cities,
I'll fight to protect you too.
the Quad
Jiro.
Cities and their famous DJs.
They wouldn't have it
Kansas
any
City,
other way.
Kansas,
Does that mean
Kansas City,
Yakushiji?
Missouri. Okay, enough of this. All right.
All of these are. I can't even remember what the name of this city is supposed to be.
That would have been funny to
They
end it
definitely
on.
said it at some point in time.
So cute.
Jiro Izumi, I think, or Morgana,
Yep, that's right.
He'll be there at lunch.
or Kichijoji.
I mean, you know what?
Las
At
Vegas.
least you retain of all the things to retain from Persona 5. I'm assuming, unless you're unless you really got into, I don't know, the Tokyo, the geography.
Well, I wrote
Since
that.
we
I wrote
finished
that
that series last year.
Cantina thing, the Cantina parody of Kichijoji. So I actually did research it briefly. It spent like in 20 minutes,
Try my best.
like Wikipedia. You know, they have pancakes and everything.
Fluffy.
Yes, they're famous for their pancakes.
They actually are.
Actually, are they?
I think it's pancakes. Yeah, they
Oh my god.
they mention it in the. Yeah,
Well, I
in the
guess that
game.
almost explains something. Anyway, here's the final
Final
battle.
Okay.
There it is.
Jiro, I told you so many times.
I've seen attack ships on the shoulder of Orion. Something with the Tannhauser Gate.
This time.
But all these will be lost in time, like tears. and-
You know, I saw a bunch of shit. Anyway,
Anyway.
time to die.
Sentinel.
Hey, look, man, I saw so much cool shit, like these Tannhauser gates and stuff. But now I'm dead.
Ah.
jeez.
Well, I reached my limit. It's 2 years.